My name is Paul Matthews. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. For those who might be looking for the child music event, that's upstairs. Hopefully you're all here for the Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards. The Research Bureau is a 38-year-old nonprofit that serves the city of Worcester with nonpartisan and objective fact-based research. This is always a proud day for the Bureau and has been since 1988 because it's a terrific opportunity to highlight all the incredible public servants we have in the city of Worcester, surrounding towns, and the region. And it's really an opportunity to highlight how hard people work on behalf of the community and to serve the public. So I want to thank our honorees tonight. I want to thank all of you who are in attendance to help them celebrate. And I want to thank all the other public servants who are represented by the honorees tonight. There's a lot of them that serve the public quietly day in and day out and deserve our thanks and appreciation. So in terms of the other thanks I need to offer, I need to thank Mechanics Hall for hosting today in this beautiful facility. I need to thank our event sponsors, under which this event could not happen. So Country Bank, Beals & Thomas, Lamoureux Pagano, Associates Architects, Phoenix Communications, Saint-Gobain, UMass Chan Medical School, VHB, Wind Companies, Matrix Design, National Grid, UMass Memorial Health, and individual sponsors Rick and Joanne Powell. We also need to thank our media sponsor, the TNG, our in-kind sponsors who have provided benefits to the honorees, the Beechwood Hotel, the DCU Center, the Ecotarium, Mechanics Hall, Saint-Gobain, Scharfman's Jewelers, Worcester Art Museum, Worcester Bravehearts, Worcester Historical Museum, Worcester Railers, and Worcester Wares. I also want to thank the nominators. They are the people who really put together the justification and the eloquence behind selecting tonight's honorees. They worked really hard to do it, and I want to thank all of them for their efforts. I want to thank my colleagues, Eric Nealand, who's in the back of the room and worked hard to put this together, as well as David Cruz and Josh Boucher. I want to thank our committee and our chair, led by Che Anderson from UMass Chan Medical School, former Worcester municipal public servant himself. And before I turn this over to our host for the evening, Kathy Gagney from Mechanics Hall, I do want to just offer two thoughts. One is, everyone listening, please nominate people next year. We do love the opportunity to really recognize the unheralded public servants across the region. And I want to thank everyone listening and everyone who's part of serving the public through working for municipal government and regional government. You all do a wonderful job every day, tirelessly, and you have our thanks and appreciation. So on that note, I'm happy to introduce my colleague and our host, Kathy Gagney.
Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Kathleen Gagney. I'm Executive Director of Mechanics Hall, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have this event here within our walls. As Paul mentioned, municipal workers, and I mentioned it to our honorees family, are unsung, and for the amazing work that they do. And so I'm thrilled to be able to honor them here in our space. I welcome all of you. I'm sure you will enjoy the night's festivities. I'm not going to talk much longer because I know the schedule is packed, but please know you are always welcome at Mechanics Hall. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I had such an important thing to do. Welcome to Che Anderson, Chairman of the committee.
Pull that on up there. Awesome. How's it going, folks? Hey there, hey there. So I'm Che Anderson from UMass Chan Medical School, formerly from the city of Worcester. I never won the Thomas Green Award, so I wasn't a great employee, but whatevs. Now I'm the chair. It's cool. That's cool. It's going to be a great night to recognize so many talented and exceptional folks So I have the pleasure of representing this year's Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards Committee. The Thomas Green Awards has celebrated hundreds of public service professionals in the Worcester region, and these heroes and their families have dedicated their time, their talent, their lives to the communities that we call home, and so it's extremely excited, and we should be doing this like so many other times a year. That's Paul. We're just going to keep raising money and keep doing this just in perpetuity. The Green Awards are made to publicly recognize the efforts of individuals exhibiting the following characteristics: exceptional competence and efficient handling of all assigned responsibilities, enthusiastic performance of tasks above and beyond the call of duty, a cooperative, helpful, and friendly attitude toward the public and fellow employees, and community involvement outside the scope of job-related responsibilities. I can see why I didn't win one, but the 23 recipients truly stood out amongst a very strong group of nominees who are all deserving of our thanks and our recognition. All right, to this year's recipients, thank you for your time. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your expertise and your selflessness. We all owe a debt of gratitude to these recipients and to many other frontline workers in our region. So if you work for a municipality, the public school system, a regional agency, or other public service entity, I would love to ask you to please stand if you're able to be recognized. Not just the winners tonight. If you work there at all, we want to see you, so please stand up. I'd also like to recognize any past Thomas Green Award recipients in attendance. So if you are here, yeah, Peter Dunn, please stand and be recognized. All right. That's right. The other Peter Dunn never won the Thomas Green Award. That's right. So these recipients are going to fit right in with this outstanding group of public servants. And this year, we are going to recognize James Brooks, the Director of Housing Development and Healthy Homes of Worcester Executive Office of Economic Development. So please give it up for James. We are going to recognize Jacqueline Burmeister, Senior Environmental. Okay, yeah, just clap right now. Title not necessary, Queen of the Blue Space, Jackie Burmeister. But for those at home checking in, she's a senior environmental analyst and coordinator of Worcester's Lakes and Ponds program for the Department of Sustainability and Resilience. We're going to recognize Brenda Colon. Who is an instructional assistant for 5th grade at the Quinsigma Elementary School for the Worcester Public Schools. Yeah, keep going, keep it going. We're going to recognize my guy, Scott Stark. All right. The electric supervisor for Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations. And celebrating retirement coming soon. Gonna be relaxing, just hanging out, Scott. I got it. I got you, brother. Last but not least, we're going to be honoring Evis Tepolari, the Homeless Projects Manager for Worcester Health and Human Service Division. So please give it up for my man. But before we get into the ceremony and properly honor these remarkable individuals, I have a few thank yous and rigmarole to go through, so apologies in advance. Please take a moment to thank all of the Thomas Green Committee members for their diligence in selecting this year's recipients, and I'm going to read all the names. Here we go. Joyce Augustus, Melanie Bonsu of St. Gobain, Dan DiTullio of Assumption University, Kathleen Gagney, Mechanics Hall, Ellen Ganley, Worcester Community Action Council and former chair of this committee, also worked for the city, also never won the Thomas Green Award. Just putting it out there, we're continuing that thread throughout. Please, someone answer that phone. John Graham of Legendary Legacies, Alex Guardiola of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, Paul Matthews of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau, Michael McDermott of Telegram and Gazette, Todd Rodman of Cedar and Chandler, Dr. Amy Shea from the Health Foundation of Central Massachusetts, and Hank Stoltz, Talk of the Commonwealth. Best voice in the room. Yep, that's you. That's you right there. I'd also, again, like to echo Paul in thanking this year's sponsors. I'm not going to read the 200 names that he read, but thank all of you for sponsoring and for your support of these awards. I'd encourage you to all read the sponsor page and your beautiful booklets you have right there on the table. But I'd like to particularly thank Country Bank as our county level sponsor. Additionally, we certainly cannot have this ceremony without Mechanics Hall, and as a board member of Mechanics Hall, I do always want to say thank you to Kathy Gagne for all the work she does in maintaining this space and bringing new energy and new life to this space and providing so many opportunities to really honor a hallmark institution in our community. So thank you. Thank you, Kathy. I'd also like to thank Senators Fatman, Kennedy, and Moore, and Representatives Frost, Kane, and O'Day, who provided citations from the Massachusetts legislature to recognize our recipients. So thank you to them as well. Now, without further ado, let's start the ceremony. We have some brief words of welcome from honored guests, and first up, the Mayor of Worcester, Mayor Joe Petty. Please give it up for him.
Thank you, Chair. And Chair, I have no corrections about your own introduction, why you didn't get an award. But I just want to thank Paul and his team and everybody, all the nominees, nominers, and the people who put this together. Job well done. Thank you. And it's great to have. I want to thank Kathleen for using the hall here tonight. And this is a great institution. It's a great place to have this award. So thank you. At today's Thomas S. Green Award ceremony, we recognize some 5 wonderful people. Jim, from our housing department. I saw Jim earlier. Jim, thanks for all you do for the housing department. Very small department. You get a lot accomplished. And you've been on this for the last 5 years, making things happen in the city of Worcester. So on my behalf, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And Jackie, whoever thought Blue Space, I announced that several years ago. Jackie was a one-man person. I think Eric finally hired an assistant. Well, Ed did right before he left, but now there's 2 people in the department. But you've made such a difference on the lakes, the atmosphere. Everybody loves you. Was the department, all the work that you do. You make the city a better place. So thanks for everything you do on that. And Scotty, I heard you just retired. So congratulations on your retirement. Over 40 years of service with the electric and cable company, and we'd love to have your service here in the city of Worcester. I'd love to have that company right in Worcester. So congratulations. And of course, don't forget Evis, right? Evis, you take care of the most vulnerable people here in the city of Worcester, and you're out there every day with the Quality of Life team, so much appreciated. And also, don't forget Brenda over here. Brenda, congratulations on your award to para-educators and the IEAs do a wonderful job, and there's a lot of challenges in your field, so thank you for everything you do in the school department, so much appreciated. Now, each of these people have dedicated their lives to government service and to service of others. Each of these people we're recognizing today work within the government and have the power to create policy, programs, and initiatives that make a real impact on the lives of those around us. These are the people that are working every day to create a more perfect union that we should all inspire collectively. But government service isn't the only way to serve others. We can all be of service in our daily lives through acts of kindness, volunteering, donations, and other actions that help those in need. Service to others is important for many reasons. First and foremost, it helps us cultivate a sense of empathy and compassion for those around us. When we serve others, we are reminded that we are all in this together and that we all have responsibility to support and care for one another. Service also provides us with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. When we give back to our communities, we're reminded that our lives have a meaning beyond our personal goals and ambitions. We are part of something bigger than ourselves, and that is truly inspiring. In a world where we are often encouraged to focus on our own success, service to others is a powerful antidote. It reminds us that we have a responsibility to use our talent and resources to help others, and that our happiness is intertwined with the happiness of those around us. So congratulations and thank you to all the award winners here today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now a few words from the Worcester Public School Superintendent, Ms. Rachel Menares.
I just had to comment on Shay's shoes. They were pretty spectacular. Good evening, everybody. First, I want to thank the Worcester Research Bureau for putting this on. What a beautiful space Mechanic Hall is. I whispered to Annie that I'd really like to have something for Worcester Public Schools here in the future, so Mayor, just a little note there. So we know that Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards honors public employees who work tirelessly to make our communities a better place to live. And I'm so grateful to be here in Worcester learning about this and being a part of it. The public servants, tonight's recipients, make sure that our communities are economically sustainable, climate ready, providing education for all, and supportive of our most vulnerable students. You really go above and beyond the call of duty, and you look for innovative ways to solutions to challenges that we may think are not possible, but you make it happen. And in the case of Brenda Colon, she is a paraeducator for the Quinsigamond Elementary School. She is being honored tonight on behalf of Worcester Public Schools, and she takes an intentional approach to supporting our children who have come to our schools speaking a language other than English and learning English while maintaining their primary language or their home language. Brenda understands the power of bilingualism and she sees it as an asset. She understands that equity means providing extra support for the scholars who face some additional needs and who need a little bit more. She is described by her colleagues, and so she's probably dying right now, as humble and not seeking attention. She's kind, warm, and empathetic, and she helps students and parents alike. As an individual who myself began my career serving children who English is not their first language, I understand firsthand the life-changing impact that an educator such as Ms. Colon can have on a child's life. So to you, Ms. Colon, and all the recipients tonight, thank you for what you do. We value you, our community values you, and we cannot do it without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Menares. Next up, a person I had the privilege of knowing in the office for about 6.5 years, City Manager Eric Batista.
Good evening, everyone. Che, I too was not good enough to be a Thomas Green Award recipient. Clearly, that's why these people are much better than we are. I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank the Research Bureau for hosting this awards and inviting me to speak. I also want to, and I'm pleased to join in recognizing 5 individuals who have gone above and beyond serving this community, the city of Worcester. I want to congratulate Brenda Colon of the Worcester Public Schools, Scott Stark of Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations, and then my own Jim Brooks, Jacqueline Burmeister, and Evis Terpolario of the city of Worcester. You know, the late Senator Margaret Chase Smith put it best when she said, public service must be more than doing a job efficiently and honestly. It must be a complete dedication to the people. Brenda, Scott, Jim, Jacqueline, and Evis all embody this principle, and that's why they're receiving the awards tonight. We know that bureaucracy can overshadow the fact that people are working behind the scenes and making sacrifices for the greater good. These unsung heroes make sure that our government functions and our services are delivered, meeting the demands and challenges that can feel overwhelming at times. Can definitely feel overwhelming at times, right, Evis? And they do so with the utmost professionalism, enthusiasm, and unwavering commitment to the community. Their recognition is extremely well-deserved. Now, If you allow me to brag a little bit about a few tonight who show up to work each and every day, driven to improve the quality of life for all, and I mean all, of Worcester's residents. One of the priorities of my administration is staff development, investing in people who make a difference. And Jim, Evis, and Jacqueline are shining examples of allowing talent and leadership to flourish. Director of Housing Development and Healthy Homes, Jim Brooks, has worked his way up through the Department of Economic Development, and today manages millions of dollars in grant funds and ensures that Worcester can provide safe and affordable housing. So the person with the real money is Jim. The city is facing many housing-related challenges, from maintaining a sufficient housing stock to finding shelter for people experiencing homelessness. Jim brings a big picture, multifaceted approach to developing solutions. And he is a trusted advisor and leader to help move Worcester's housing strategy forward. Not only does he work with developers building thousands of units across Worcester, but he has been instrumental in establishing overflow shelters and administering our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. He has also implemented larger community development initiatives through collaborative partnerships and that have helped make Worcester a vibrant and resilient city. Jim earned praise across city departments and from community partners, and one of his nominators summed up the impact of his work by writing, "One of Jim's qualities I appreciate most is his dedication and his initiative to meet the current and emerging housing needs of the community. He always maintains his positive spirit and enthusiasm, even during the most challenging times of the pandemic. It's not an exaggeration to say that Jim's accomplishments over his 10-year in public service have saved lives, literally saved lives. And Jim actually celebrated 10 years in municipal government not too long ago. So congratulations to you, you're vested." Another city employee who works tirelessly to address housing challenges is Evis, homeless projects manager in the Department of Health and Human Services. He is an exemplary advocate for individuals and families experiencing homelessness, working to provide both short-term and long-term solutions. Evan ensures that people have access to essential goods and services, volunteering at shelters, and building lasting relationships with clinicians, physicians, government agencies, community organizations, and housing authorities and landlords. As one person put it, everyone knows Evis. One of our partners in the faith-based community summarized his accomplishments. Evis demonstrates extraordinary compassion for those who face homelessness in our community, regardless of circumstances. He is trusted by community members, co-workers, and leaders as one who has continued to shine a light on the ongoing and increasing needs of the most vulnerable in the city. Thank you, Evis. And last but not certainly, and not the least, is Jacqueline Burmeister, Senior Environmental Analyst in the Department of Sustainability and Resiliency. When Mayor Joseph Petty laid out a vision for Worcester's Blue Space program, I don't think that even he could have imagined the heights it would achieve under Jacqueline's leadership. She has grown the Lakes and Ponds program from one-person operation to a full team, expanded its impact, and engages with residents through the Worcester, this word always gets to me, Cyanobacteria Monitoring Collaborative. The annual State of the Lakes report, which is amazing if you haven't had a chance to go to those State of the Lakes, solid presentations, and the Blue Space Angler Event Series. In fact, the program now lives in the Department of Sustainability and Resiliency, thanks to Jacqueline's stewardship in maintaining our valued blue spaces in a sustainable way, ensuring their safety, quality, and accessibility for recreational use and the promotion of economic development for generations to come. She has established innovative partnerships across the city, which is reflected in recommendations that came in from elected officials, community partners, state agencies, local colleges, universities, and the Chamber of Commerce. One nominator wrote, "Jacqueline goes beyond the normal job requirements of assisting the public and instead creates friends, allies, and partners." It is worth reflecting that the public often approaches the idea of government and government employees with cynicism and skepticism. To build a community in that environment can only be the result of a truly dedicated soul who is willing to get past the initial responses and reactions and work to create something new and lasting. There is no doubt that all of tonight's award recipients serve as models for all public servants to aspire. So I want to congratulate you, Jacqueline, Evis, Jim, but also Scott and Brenda. Congratulations to all of you. Keep up the amazing work, and thank you for everything you do for our residents in our city of Worcester. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Batista. And last but not least, we'll hear from a representative of Selco, Ralph Yacarino. Let's go, Ralph.
Thank you all and welcome. I'd like to congratulate all the recipients for the Thomas S. Green Award tonight. And it is my honor and pleasure to talk about Scotty Stark. Over 40 years ago, Scotty was hired by the Shrewsbury Electric Light Plant, as it was known at that time, as an electric meter reader. He soon became an apprentice lineman, then first-class lineman, then line foreman, and eventually he was promoted to his most recent position as the electric supervisor. During his entire career in Shrewsbury, he was always dedicated to keeping the lights on. While most of us take for granted that when we flip the switch, the lights will go on, it is because of the Scotties of the industry that we have this comfort. Scotty always goes above, now went, but during the worst of weather, such as blizzards, ice storms, torrential rainstorms, middle of the night pole accidents, when most of us would prefer to hunker down and stay home, he could be counted on to answer the phone, respond, and be out there, repairing high voltage lines, and remain until the job was complete and all power was restored. This work ethic and dedication and the mentoring of others to react the same way has provided the Shrewsbury residents with extremely reliable electric service. A few months ago, when Scotty let me know he was retiring, I was extremely pleased for him, and especially so when I found out he was selected as a recipient of the Thomas Green Public Service Award. This is a worthy end in acknowledgement to a very successful public service career. Congratulations, Scotty, and happy retirement.
Getting that cardio in today. Well, thank you folks for speaking and recognizing these outstanding employees. Just so you folks know, we're going to begin the awards presentation now. Right? Honorees will be introduced by members of the 2023 Thomas Green Award Committee. Recipients will receive a Thomas Green Award plaque, citations from the Massachusetts State Legislature, thanks to support of recipients' home district senators and representatives, and gift bags courtesy of our in-kind sponsors. My boss John is here. John, did we give anything in the gift bags? Did we put like free surgery or something? No. Okay. No, let's go. I figured I'd ask this. It's all right. Our first recipient will be James Brooks, who will be introduced by David Sullivan, representing the Thomas S. Green Committee member Alex Guardiola. David is the Director of Economic Development and Business Recruitment for the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. That is right. Paul is pinch hitting for David, who is pinch hitting for Alex of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. So we have Paul Matthews of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. I'm just really making my money's worth tonight. All right, give it up for Paul Matthews introducing.
proud to be representing the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce here, recognizing Jim Brooks for his work. As you know, I'm the executive director of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. What many of you in the audience do not know, including Jim, is the resonance this award has for me in presenting it to Jim. My father worked for the Worcester Redevelopment Authority and the Worcester Housing Authority and then HUD. So I have a very close appreciation of what it takes. It's really a calling to work on housing issues, and I want to commend Jim and his family, who I think are the ones who know firsthand the level of time, love, and commitment he has to give to a career helping people in a way that's frequently unheralded. So I want to thank Jim. I want to commend his entire family for supporting him in his choice of a career field that's frankly not as rewarding as it should be, given the impact it has on people's lives. On that note, a lot has been said by many others about Jim's official responsibilities. I'm not going to repeat that. What I thought might be helpful is referring to the words of some unusual nominators. One of his nominators was former Green Award recipient Peter Dunn, who was very eloquent because he works with Jim. I do want to, however, call out two other nominators because of the unusual nature of their nomination. One is Leah Bradley, the CEO of the Central Mass Housing Alliance, who was quite eloquent in noting Jim's ability to see a need, reach out to partners to develop creative solutions, and help implement those solutions goes above and beyond his role. He's compassionate with community members, partners, and his team, addressing fair housing complaints directly with community members and supporting initiatives. He is always responsive, assisting with positivity. He goes above and beyond when there are community needs or events. He was there the morning a new shelter was opened, checked on every shelter in the city during extreme cold, and volunteered to be part of a group to beautify the shelter after it closed. The other nominator who I think merits special mention here is our Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Dr. Maddie Castile. And I think it's unusual to have someone in her role nominating Jim, but her points were Jim represents the embodiment of patience and commitment. He's one of the most caring people I've had the privilege of working with at the city. We need more people like him to advocate for the homeless, those suffering with addiction and mental health. He makes our life easier by teaching us the ways we can help our community, by showing us all the different pathways to care in the realm of housing. He contributes to changing what we call the inequities in healthcare by helping access housing, one of the most important aspects of social determinants of health. I am forever indebted to the work Jim does, and I'm grateful to have the privilege of working with him. Those two, coming from their individual outside perspectives, I think really demonstrates Jim's going above and beyond and his embodiment of the commitment of his position. I also want to note, through a quirk, one of the federal officials who works with Jim is a very longtime friend of mine. I literally ran into him in Boston Monday night for the first time since pre-pandemic. We hadn't seen each other in years. His very first words to me were, "Great move giving the award to Jim. He deserves it." So he also shared with me that Jim's a pilot who has the hobby of flying to other airports for lunch. So Jim, that is an amazing hobby. I wish I was as interesting, and I look forward to hearing your comments. And for those of you speaking after me, don't forget your plaques to award the award winners. Jim, come on up.
So I told Jay I would be quick today, so I had to write it down. But first I want to thank the Research Bureau, the Awards Committee, and really each of my candidates nominators. Being on a few boards myself, I know the amount of time it takes to really review the applicants. I'd also like to thank each one of my fellow award winners for their public service. Each candidate here represents a person's most sought-after needs at some point in their life, whether it's housing, drinking water, electricity, education, or being a voice for someone who's lost everything and has no home to go to. As Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You always find the people who are helping. That's what each one of you fellow awardees does every day. You probably won't find us on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok trying to get likes and views for our work, but helping the community and trying to make someone's life a little better each day. I'm often asked why the city's housing division has outperformed much of the rest of the state during COVID. When you take master's classes, you're taught when you ask a question, there's really 3 why questions behind that question. So why has Worcester outperformed the state in the last few years? The first is our municipal team here, led by the city manager and my boss, Peter Dunn. While COVID shut down many businesses and city departments, housing was placed as a top priority of the city's social determinants of health to combat COVID. Shelter-in-place orders and HEPA filters were all the news spoke about during that time. While Boston had hundreds of housing staff in their division, Worcester had 11 incredible staff that stepped up and addressed the challenges to over 200,000 people and their housing needs. In addition, city leadership, including, as I mentioned, Peter, Andy Taylor, both the former city manager and the current city manager, allowed me to pitch some pretty crazy ideas to them on things we were hearing in the community. Some of them were pretty crazy, but we explored them further, and some of them moved forward, such as the Housing Navigator program, and now those programs are national models for housing placement throughout the country. The second why is community collaborators. In a lot of ways, economic development figures out who the dreamers are with who the doers are in the community. Worcester's full of amazing developers, nonprofit and community-based organizations who intimately know each neighborhood's needs. Throughout the pandemic, these agencies became the doers of the community. None more than Tim Garvin. I know he couldn't be here tonight, but those of you who know Tim, you know he's both a dreamer and a doer. I don't think Tim's dreams have any currency or banks because most of them are pretty expensive a lot of times. But he knows in order to make it a reality, he has to pitch in. Last winter, during the coldest night of the year, it was -20, -25 degrees. 3-4 in the morning, there were 2 leaders in our warming shelter in the senior center. Leah Bradley and Tim Garvin were there in the middle of the night, helping the most vulnerable. So that's why one of our reasons our community is so successful. In addition to dreamers, we have the doers. And then finally is family support. As a municipal employee, it's critical to have a support system in place. As is the case in media, the negative story receives the widest audience. Too often, municipal employees are criticized for one negative experience and not the 99 other experiences where you were the most important person in someone's life that day. For me, that support includes my wife, Dion. If you want a lesson in patience and love, tell your wife you have a city council meeting and you can't help out with your kids' 4 practices and activities that night. Then come home after the 3-hour meeting and tell her your item was held and you have to do it all over again next week. Remember that, Mr. Mayor. You have to report to her. And also my sons, Trevor and Owen, they already have the 3 whys down. Why do I have to go to school? Why do you have to go to another meeting? And why can't I have ice cream? They're incredible kids and constantly provide me with another perspective to think about. And also additionally, my family, my parents, my brothers, and the rest of my family here today, their support throughout my life has made me the person I am today. So those are the answers to my 3 whys. The one thing they don't teach you in grad school, though, is that the answers to the why questions are usually more important than the question itself. Thank you again for this honor, and congratulations to my fellow awardees.
Thank you, Jim. I know you started that by saying you won't find you on TikTok, but knowing that you have a plane and you can fly it, I hope that I can make some TikToks in it. So after we'll talk, yeah, for sure. I definitely got to pretend like I know how to fly a plane. The next recipient that we have is Jacqueline Burmeister, who will be introduced by Kathy Gagne of Mechanics Hall. Please give it up for her. Take your time, it's cool, I'm here, no worries.
Eric Nealon told me to bring all the things, so I'm bringing all the things. There's a goodie bag and a plaque and citations from the state Senate and House. So congratulations to all the recipients, you will get those. So, I know a lot of these things have been said already about Jacqueline, but I'm going to say them too. It's my great pleasure and honor to introduce Thomas S. Green Public Service Award winner Jacqueline Burmeister. Jacqueline is Senior Environmental Analyst, Coordinator of the Lakes and Ponds Program in the City of Worcester. Her position was created in 2017 within the Department of Public Works and has since been moved to the new Department of Sustainability and Resilience. She works to maintain water quality in Worcester's lakes with public access, assuring their ability to support various recreational uses. She also assists community volunteers who have come together to protect other waterways and to provide guidance and leadership. Her vision is a Worcester where protected, safe, and healthy waterways provide the strength a natural ecosystem supplies for its stormwater capacity, its natural cooling effects, and for recreational opportunities. Jacqueline and I met to prepare for tonight's event, and I learned a great deal about her and her work. I'm happy to say that her work and mine have connection, strange but true. Many of the man-made waterways in our city are the result of increased industrialization introduced by the founders of my organization, the Worcester County Mechanics Association. Jacqueline's innovative spirit and skill at bringing the community together, promoting science and technology, would be admired by the mechanics who loved this city and tried to improve the human condition. The Lakes and Ponds program is one of only a very few municipal programs whose goal is to care for our blue space. A new word for me, a new concept for me, thanks to Mayor Petty and to Jacqueline's vision. Through scientific measurement, management plans, stakeholder engagement, and public education. I have to comment on the term blue space again. I've come to love it so much. It's an initiative of Mayor Petty. And Jacqueline has given life and breath to our understanding of how important blue space, water bodies, are to our well-being as well to the infrastructure of our city. Jacqueline told me she feels as though she has the best job in the world, that she is lucky to serve the city of Worcester in this capacity, and fortunate to have been the first, giving her the ability to identify the needs, create the plan, and measure the outcomes. Her work affects 20 waterways, lakes, ponds, and streams that are large and small, natural and man-made. Jacqueline has enhanced the quality of our lives. No fewer than 21 individuals enthusiastically supported Jacqueline's nomination. Here's why. Began with 0 and built an effective, efficient, and highly valued public department. She harnesses goodwill and hopefulness. She is a model of innovation. She builds community. She builds team. She creates allies, friends, and partners. She has increased community involvement. The city is a better city with healthier waterways, a more engaged public, greater awareness of critical issues of watershed protection and stewardship. She has created something new and lasting that will be felt for generations. Specific achievements include establishing the Worcester, and I'm with you there, City Manager, cyanobacteria monitoring collaborative, which collects and measures data with volunteer citizen scientists who evaluate the condition of our blue spaces by monitoring invasive aquatic species, developing management programs to control them, innovative use of the FlowCam technology to facilitate data collection. Jacqueline has conducted weed removal days and facilitated partnerships. Collaborations and establishing like-minded networks of volunteer organizations with Worcester State University, WPI, Cooks Pond Water Quality Committee, Mass Audubon, Blackstone River Headwaters Coalition, Indian Lake Watershed Association, Lake Quinsigamond Commission, DPW Parks Commission, Green Hill Park Coalition, Greater Worcester Land Trust, Tatnook Brook Watershed Association, Clark University, Friends of the Patch Reservoir, Massachusetts Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, Boards of Health, City Conservation Commission. Her programs include the Blue Space Angler event series, events that promote fishing and aquatic education, both virtual and online. And she has a Blue Space Minute YouTube channel, an innovative and creative way to educate all of us on the challenges of maintaining healthy water resources. Her volunteer activities include the League of Women Voters, and as a member of the Leadership Worcester class of 2019, she now leads the initiative's Urban Sustainability Session, as well as the Chamber's youth-oriented Career Pathways sessions for the Worcester Green Corps. Jacqueline is a Peace Corps veteran who received her MBA and MS degrees from Clark University. Please join me, together with the Burmeister family, as well as her partner Jake, in recognizing this remarkable woman, a true alchemist, Jacqueline Burmeister.
Good evening, everyone. So, working for the Lakes and Ponds program, it really has been my dream job. Though not necessarily for the reasons that I thought it would be. Yes, it hit my one job requirement upon hire, that I get to wear waders to work. And at parties, I do still brag that my work vehicle is a kayak. However, that is not why my job is so great. I feel really, really lucky that I get to work with the community, my community, the Worcester community, between the watershed associations, the land trust, the Chamber of Commerce, the local universities, and the City Council. I've met so many passionate folks that are working to make positive changes in their neighborhoods, and much of the time as volunteers. It's been so encouraging to work alongside you and share in the successes of our communal goals of improving our green and blue spaces. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Because of you, I am here, and because of you, the Lakes and Ponds program is what it is today. On the city side, there have been so many individuals that have supported this program. Thank you so much to the mayor and the city manager who listened to the needs for coordinated lake management. I also want to thank the leaders at DPW who took a chance on me before anyone actually knew what a blue space program was. Or what it would look like. And in particular, I want to thank the Water and Sewer and the Parks Division for your technical expertise and your collaboration in managing and monitoring our blue spaces. I'm continuously humbled by your dedication to keeping this city running smoothly. When it comes to the outreach portion of our program, I want to send a special thank you to the Division of Cable Services and to the City Manager's Office. You manage to make us look professional, even when we are talking about topics such as E. coli and how that gets into our water. And of course, I want to thank the Lakes and Ponds program employees. Without you, this couldn't be done. Nick Pagan and more recently, Emily Menard, who are thoughtful, enthusiastic, and come to work every day willing to engage in whatever non-migratory goose chase that we are engaging in that day. And while I love it, it's not always been smooth sailing. And so I want to thank those who've supported me individually over the years, in particular my parents, who taught me the value of hard work and how to focus on a goal and came all the way here from Connecticut to be with me tonight. To my friends who have involuntarily learned more than I ever cared to about cyanobacteria, city procurement practices, personalities. Thank you. Thanks as well to my amazing and supportive partner, Jake Babineau, who sits through the State of the Lakes every year, not just once, but twice, listening intently and offering valuable feedback, usually in the hours right before the event when I have to redo the whole presentation. So thank you to all of you. It's been truly an honor to serve this community, and I look forward to all the great things on the horizon. I can't wait to see what's next. So thank you again for bringing me here tonight, and thanks to all the other awardees.
Blue space, baby. I love it. Love it. There was this James Bond movie this one time where they had a car that then went on. Can we put that in the budget? Can we? You folks do. Okay, Jackie, I got you. We're going to get you the James Bond car. All right? I'm excited for this one. So much school in the room. There was Sue Melman from the school committee was just here, so I just want to give her a big shout out because the next person we're going to recognize is Brenda Colon, who will be introduced by Melanie Bonsu, the Community Relations Manager for Saint-Gobain.
So I am not Che Heights. This is going to go down. And also, Che, I just have to say, we did donate to the gift bags to Saint-Gobain, and they're not grinding wheels or sandpaper. They're good stuff, I promise you guys. In case you wanted some sandpaper, though, let me know. Thanks for having me. I had the pleasure to meet with Brenda a few weeks ago. In typical Brenda, she was a few minutes late because she was with her students. It was MCAS day for the 5th graders. A lot of our conversation wasn't about Brenda at all. I learned about her 2 sons, who she lives for, her 4 grandchildren with 1 on the way, how supportive the staff is at Quinsignum Elementary School, as well as how thankful she is for them, and her extremely inspirational mother, who came to the States when Brenda was younger with 4 kids and $75 in her pocket. It didn't take me long to figure out that Brenda is probably the most humble person I've ever met in my life, and she might not see herself as valuable as she is to her students and coworkers. Thankfully, those coworkers wrote amazing nominations, so I was able to pull some awesome stuff out about Brenda and give her the proper introduction that she deserves. Brenda is an instructional assistant for almost 100 5th graders at Quinsignum Elementary, where she assists students through instruction, translation, classroom management, as well as attending to their social and emotional needs. As her lovely nominators had said, she is an exceptional champion for the students. According to her colleagues, Brenda's dedication to the students of Worcester shows through her determination to help every student learn. She addresses each student's learning needs, and if the resources aren't available, she will find them and make sure that they become available. The school that Brenda works at, like Worcester, is extremely diverse and has a large population of students who English is not their first language. Having been in the same position when she was a child, Brenda can relate to those kids pretty easily. Another colleague noted, I might get emotional, one of the most amazing things to witness is her relationship with our Hispanic students. She makes our ELL students feel comfortable, and she gives them a wonderful opportunity to communicate with their classmates and teachers, and has helped them gain the confidence in learning a new language. She's constantly connecting with our student population through shared language, culture, experiences, and food. Which she didn't offer me any food, so we might have to discuss that later. Before I welcome Brenda up to the stage, I wanted to share one thing that stuck with me during our conversation. She stated that if she could make one student's transition easier in school, that she feels that she's completed her job. It's very clear to me that she's made very much more than one student have a great transition. Brenda also happens to carry around a note in her pocket from a student from Ecuador. This is where she got me, and I was like, I gotta go. And it said, I thought I wouldn't make it through the year until I met you. Thank you, Brenda, for all that you do, and please join me in congratulating Brenda and welcoming her up here for this well-deserved honor.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Let me breathe. I want to start saying thank you first in Spanish to my family. So excuse me for just a few seconds. Mami, te quiero dar las gracias por ti. Yo soy la mujer que soy hoy. Los quiero, los adoro. Gracias por su amor y su apoyo incondicional. De verdad, los quiero mucho. A ti, Bori, por siempre estar ahí para mí y para los nenes. Te quiero un montón. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mommy. Okay. Now I want to say thank you to the superintendent of the Worcester Public Schools for being here tonight. The Research Bureau, my principal, Lauren Rocca, and especially the 5th grade team. Because of them, I'm here tonight, so I would like for Amber, Jess, and Chelsea to stand up. I just want to say to you guys, please stand up. I want to say to you guys, thank you for believing in me, trusting in me, and treating me just like one of you guys. I'm truly blessed to be working with you guys and truly blessed to be working in such a great school. Thank you. And the 3rd grade team who are here as well. And lastly, I want to share this award with all the paras, educators, and all the students at Quincy-Goodman Elementary School. Thank you and have a great night.
You know, Paul, I told you I wasn't going to cry tonight. That was, jeez. I looked around, everyone's like, oh, okay, we can't let people say it. That was beautiful. Thank you, Brenda. Next up, we have Scott Stark, who will be introduced by Hank Stoltz, radio personality for Talk of the Commonwealth.
All right. You're probably wondering why I called you all here this evening. It was for just this moment. Now, as you have all heard, this was a tough year. This was a big year for the committee to select the Thomas S. Green Award winners, because the competition was so very, very intense. There were so many nominees this year. I think there were as many nominees as any year I have ever served. And what do they? Shay kind of did this in the beginning, right? So there's certain things that they all have. So what gets a nominee noticed? What sets them apart? Well, I can tell you right now that anybody who is nominated, as Shay told us, is a team player, right? Check. Goes above and beyond, right? Check. Now, that's not to say that it's a cliche or that it's untrue in any way. It is fact. It's just that you don't get nominated if you don't have those attributes. So they're a common denominator with nominees and award winners alike. And that's all certainly true in the case of Scott Stark. So what sets Scotty apart? Well, many things. But in 2023, one thing certainly stood out to me, and that is 40 plus years of dedicated service in one job, one company. I'll give you a little perspective. When Scott started at Shrewsbury Light, he started at $5.25 an hour and he thought he had it made. Right? I mean, that wasn't bad back then. But we live in an age where that time of service, that longevity, and the type of institutional knowledge that it carries are becoming a thing of the past. A man beginning as a meter reader, taking pride in that work, becoming alignment through all those various jobs as were described to you, and truly loving that job and staying with it and performing it with that level of excellence for that many years so that he truly knows how to deal with anything and everything that comes his way or another lineman's way. That's rare, and it's getting rarer. And when someone asked Scotty a question, he had the answer, and that answer was rooted in his experience. It would be hard to find a better mentor for the new employees who came along. As Tracy Schultz, the human resources manager, wrote in nominating Scotty, he is personally responsible for our high level of service because he takes the time to properly train our staff. Now that is high praise indeed. He is personally responsible. I think that's also a big part of what the Thomas S. Green Award is all about. Those who see their job as a way to give back to the community that they all love. And in testimonial after testimonial after testimonial, we read them all, from his co-workers, they all talked about that, about his being responsible, his being a leader, his putting the needs of the community first and foremost, even if it meant, and I am betting there are some folks at that table with him tonight who can attest to this, even if it meant taking him away from his personal life. Christmas, and the big storm is coming, that's all right, Scotty's on call. Thanksgiving, and the power is out and needs to get back on, that's all right, Scotty's just a phone call away. And something Scott made sure to say to me, in his kind of job, he's not just on call, the whole family is. Because for him, this job was truly a calling. And the whole family had to support that decision, or it just was not going to work. And you see that tonight. His wife is here, his daughter is here, that the grandkids are here with him. Something else that came through from all those, and again, there were so many who wrote in support of Scotty, and that is his humor, his relatability. Let's face it, those are pretty good traits to have when you are in public service. I don't know if you realize this, but folks who have been without power for hours or days or a week, they can sometimes be a little grouchy. So you need someone who's not only dedicated to getting those lights back on, but can do it with a smile. And I'll give you a case in point, and I think this goes back again to what sets the Thomas S. Green winners apart. We know all the nominees go above and beyond the call of duty, but how about this? The power is out at an over 55 complex. Now, Scotty is underground. He's doing everything he can to get that power back on. And something pops. But it's not the lights. He's got a hernia. I know, I saw you guys grimace a little bit there. I did as well. So he comes up the ladder and up through the manhole cover. They get him to the hospital, and a couple of hours later, they've got the pain under control. A couple of hours later. So the man leaves the hospital, says, I got to get the power back on for these folks at this complex. And I can't leave my guys down there on their own. I got to get back to the crew. Down through the manhole cover he goes, and he gets the job done. Now that is the definition of above and beyond the call of duty. You know, one of the things that I enjoy about seeing people receive the Thomas S. Green Public Service Award is that we're able to share a few kind words about the recipients, because it has been noted one trait that they all have in common is modesty. They are humble to a fault, and not ones to toot their own horns. Well, he happens to be getting this award after 40 years of service. He retired on May 4th. I believe not only is he a Jedi Master, but I think there's a young man at the table that date had some special meaning for. So in some respects, this is a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. It's also been about a week and a half. And when I saw him, he said, if there's a problem in Shrewsbury, Mayor, I think you referenced this earlier, if there's a problem in Worcester, he's ready. Get his number tonight, and he is absolutely ready to go. It has nothing to do with the honey to-do list, which I heard might be a little long, but it has everything to do with he wants to get back and be of service. So a supervisor these last couple of years, but a born linesman who loved that job every minute. I have no doubt we could have given this award to you, Scotty, after the first couple of years of service to Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations, because his co-workers knew right away who they had, that your commitment ran deep. They're calling in now. So many of his family, so many of his friends here today, rivaling the Worcester school system. That's how many are here today to pay honor. And we are so glad to have you here, 40 plus years, your selfless service. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas S. Green Public Service Award recipient, Scott Stark. Never one to pass up a photo op.
Oh, gosh.
There you go.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. This really isn't in my wheelhouse type thing. One-on-one, I'm fine, but something like this is kind of crazy, so I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I am honored to have my work recognized by receiving the Thomas S. Green Public Service Award. It is a privilege to be grouped with the other recipients. I mean, you guys are unbelievable. I dedicated my life to Shrewsbury Light Department and the residents of the town, and it means so much to me that this work I am passionate about is appreciated by so many. Thank you to the Research Bureau for selecting me as a recipient of this award. But as I stand here before you all tonight, I need to recognize the people that make this evening possible for me. Thank you to the team at Sulco, Shrewsbury Electric Light Cable Operations, if you didn't know, who nominated me for this award and allowed me to come to work every day and do a job that enabled me to lead, teach, and inspire a new generation of linemen. Thank you to my mom and dad, who worked tirelessly in and out of the home. They taught me what it meant to put heart and soul into whatever I did, and that it was important to have pride in my work. But my career wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for my beautiful family who tolerated an unpredictable schedule, missing birthdays, or working in unsafe weather conditions. The support and love that they provided was unmatched, and for that I am so lucky. My wife is 110%, always Shrewsbury Light behind me, that's for sure. 2 weeks ago, I retired, ending my 41 years of service, and to receive this award is easily one of the highlights of my career. I hope everyone leaves here tonight remembering to find something you have and love and do it forever, if you possibly can. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I think those words bear repeating one more time, Scotty. Find something you love and do it forever. That is beautiful advice. Those are amazing words to live by. I'm also going to reach out to you afterwards because I've been trying to grow better facial hair for years and I can't do it. So you got to teach me the tricks, brother. Can't keep drawing this on. You know what I mean? Okay, here we are, our final recipient of the year. Last but certainly not least, the person who could go by one name, Mr. Evis Terpolari, who's going to be introduced by the executive editor of the Telegram and Gazette, Mike McDermott.
Good evening, everybody, and congratulations to all the award winners who've been up here before. It really has been great to hear all your stories. It's my honor now to introduce Evis Terpolari, our next Thomas Green Award recipient. You know, when I met Evis a few weeks ago, I discovered that he told me that one of the things that he likes to do outside of work is to climb mountains. Not exactly an easy thing to do. It's a complicated thing to do, but I think it's it's a good metaphor for what he does really every day. He handles some of the most complicated, challenging situations in our community, and we're very grateful to him for doing that. Evis is the Homeless Projects Manager for Worcester's Department of Health and Human Services. In that role, he's provided needed help to hundreds of some of the most vulnerable people in our community. He's a creative problem solver who engages with community stakeholders to find solutions for those experiencing homelessness, mental illness, and addiction. He takes part in coalition meetings to ensure multi-agency involvement in these issues and to establish connections to help his clients receive needed treatment. His day-to-day activities include transporting clients to receive treatment at various locations in our area. To find housing, he's developed relationships with landlords and housing authorities, and also partners with the Department of Veterans Affairs to facilitate housing for veterans experiencing homelessness and in need of ongoing case management. One nominator shared that Evis's compassion and professionalism make him one of the community's greatest advocates for people who are experiencing homelessness. He's worked nonstop during COVID to make sure that the community was taking care of the homeless and never took a day off. And during that time, he housed 40 individuals by himself. He frequently visits encampments to bring clothing, shoes, socks, backpacks, and food to the people living there. And by doing this, he's established relationships and trust that often lead people to accepting help, moving into housing and treatment. By going to the places where people are most in need of assistance, he's able to be the bridge to those who don't understand or perhaps don't trust the help that's available to them. He's truly all about helping people, and he goes out and does that every day, goes out of his way to do that every day. Evis is also a person with an extraordinary personal story. He came to this country as a refugee from Albania. He remembers growing up in a repressive communist system without proper toys, without proper shoes. His father spoke out for democracy, and after the fall of the communist regime, he became mayor of their city, and he helped convert a school into a shelter for refugees from Kosovo during that time. When Evis was 17, he left Albania to live with the host family in Oregon after his native country had fallen into a state of civil strife. He eventually found his way here to Worcester, where he graduated from Worcester State with a biochemistry degree. But Evis discovered that lab work was really not what was going to make him happy. He wanted to help people on the ground. And the place where he did that at first was Veterans Inc., where he worked for more than 10 years, rose to be site coordinator overseeing an 85-bed facility. In 2019, he joined the City of Worcester's Health and Human Services Department just in time for the arrival of the COVID pandemic, which would make his job even more perilous and also more important than ever. In March 2020, he was instrumental in establishing a satellite shelter at North High School, much as his father had once used a school in his hometown to help those in need of a safe place to stay. Between his job with the city and his past job at Veterans Inc., he's made a difference in the lives of thousands of people. Most dramatically, he's personally intervened to save the lives of 6 people who were undergoing cardiac arrest, and he was successful in reviving each one of them. Evis says that this award is very much a tribute to his parents who are here tonight. He says that they loved him so much and made countless sacrifices for him. And one final thing, Evis told me that he considers his U.S. citizenship to be his most treasured gift. I just want to say whatever this country has given to him, he's paid back and then some with the work that he does every day. We're very blessed to have him here in Worcester. And now I'd like to welcome to the stage Evis Tervalari.
Thank you all for being here tonight. The work that we do, it's usually not, we don't do it for this, but it's this act of humility really makes us really appreciate each and every one of you, everyone that put this together. I'm just so grateful. We have a lot of gratitude for all the hard work and hours that went into this award. I want to start with, and I didn't write a speech, and that's probably for the better, so you folks can get up and stretch your legs. But I want to start with saying thank you to God and country for letting me live in the greatest nation in the world and doing what I do and giving me the freedoms that we all enjoy today. And I'm very grateful for that. I want to say thank you to my mother and father. They're here today. They have loved us so much, and I think I contribute that, all my success to the unconditional love that they've had for me and my brother so long, and my friends, always feeding them. I'm grateful and thankful for my wife, Miyagi, who is my greatest supporter for the work that I do and everything that stands for me. I want to say also thank you to Dr. Castile and the HHS team for trusting in my abilities to serve the community. Same thing. I want to say thank you to the city manager's office as well for trusting a lot of the work that we do. I want to say also thank you to the Quality of Life team and the Crisis Intervention team through the Worcester PD for their ongoing support. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lot of their hard work. And last but not least, family and friends are the greatest things in life, and it's also the greatest possession. Of course, my passport is the greatest one, but they're right after that. So special thanks to them. And I'm going to close it with a quote from Isaac Newton, who said a long time ago that if I saw further than others, that's because I stood on the shoulders of giants. And it's all the selfless service of many people that have brought us to where we are today. And I think that we have so much potential as a country to move forward. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
You ever hear someone's bio and it's so good it sounds fake? The amazing job he does, and he's a biochem major, and he saved 6 people's lives and brought them back from the dead. You're just like, how? Thank you, Evans, for all that you do. And thank you to all of you. And so congratulations to all of tonight's recipients for receiving this prestigious award. I again want to thank our sponsors, our committee members, our recipients, and all the family and friends that are here. I think that you can see with each one of our recipients how important it is to have that community around them that shows them love and care and affection and dedication, and that understands that being a public servant is about those 2 words quite literally. You are a servant to the public, you are in service of the public, and that truly doesn't have hours of operation and work. When you're called, you're called, and all of you have truly exemplified that work, so thank you. And that concludes this year's Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards, but we have refreshments and fancy cheeses, and the bar is still open, so I hope you folks will stay around and take all the photos, and thank you for coming, and nominate somebody next year, because in the same way that so many of you just work humbly, and are unsung heroes no longer, but former unsung heroes in our community, there's so many other people in our communities, respectively, that just put their head down and do the work. So let's make sure that we get those nominations in and show them the love and support that we're able to show you folks tonight. Again, thank you, and we'll see you soon.